I mean, at half-time, Ryan Mason was told to put the kettle on and the players decided what they were going to do. This was nothing to do with Ryan Mason, it's to do with the players.
That's hard.
They would. No, I'm sorry. This group of players are.
What, you telling me they're not playing for Ryan?
They're playing for themselves. They wouldn't dare put a performance out in the second half like they did at Newcastle. They wouldn't dare in front of their home fans. They lifted a leg. They all lifted a leg. They all were at it. They were all across it.
It's disrespectful, isn't it?
No,
Ryan Mason, of course he plays his part.
No, he was told to put the kettle on.
So if they lose,
that's nice, Ryan,
you can blame him, can't you? The new manager.
No, because I wouldn't have blamed him either. Because it was never, ever about anything other than the players. For whatever reason, the players didn't like Stellini. Maybe he was a legacy of Conte. They didn't like him either. They didn't fancy it. They didn't do it. Now, they fancied it a little bit more because they were not going to be prepared to have the conversation turn away from Levy, get out of our club, which was going on in the ground, which was very constructive, onto the players. And if they'd have turned out a second half performance when Man United had kicked on and got 3 and 4, that place would have gone toxic against the players. They knew that they had to apply themselves, and they got the perfect team to do it against it because United are a bit flaky at times.
Well, surely that would be what do you think the message was from Ryan at half time?
Oh, I'm sure the message from
he played his part. You're saying he played no part.
I'm sure the message from Stellini was go out there and stink the place out and get done 5 in the first 20 minutes. That wasn't his message. But they didn't listen to his message because they didn't want to hear it, and they were going to do precisely what they wanted to do. Now, what Ryan Mason could have done was QWERTY, and they'd heard what they wanted. They decided, the players, amongst themselves, that they were going to avail themselves. Now, I'm sure that Ryan Mason...
the players play when they want, they play when they don't, and don't play when they don't want?
Absolutely. Categorically, undeniably.
So he didn't make significant changes, taking Richarlison off, Kulusevski on...
I'm sure there were some contributing factors. I'm talking about the main component part. Listen.
No, but dare I say it, you're being as disrespectful to Ryan Mason as you were to Gary O'Neill some weeks ago.
No,
yes.
I just believe that the main culprits, I heard you, Luke, the main culprits of this were the players, and the main protagonist to change it were the players. Now, Ryan Mason is a passive and nice and comfortable voice for them to hear.
You don't know that in the dressing room. You don't know that at half-time.
You can work out someone's personality most of the time when you spent time with him, which I have with Ryan, because he's a very nice fellow. I've done broadcasts with him. You can see the manner in which he interacts. You can see the way he interacts with the media. He's a nice, unassuming, pleasant fellow.
So what, are you saying like Ten Hag, the suit doesn't fit?
So those players, at the time, I looked at Ten Hag and said, the body language of a leader doesn't exude from this individual. He doesn't hold his shoulders back and push his chest out.
I know, but a lot of these comments have come back to smack you in the mush, Simon. The O'Neill one, the Ten Hag one. Well, Ryan Mason, you don't think Ryan Mason had any impact at half-time?
If you make enough observations and you're strident about them, you're going to get some of them wrong, right? And there's no problem with that, because it's better than sitting on a fence. At least you have a decision to make, right? Now, with Ryan... With Ryan
Mason there?
So
just with Ryan Mason, so if they make it into the top 4...
Yeah.
Does he become a consideration to give the job to?
No.
But does he take credit for getting them
Yes.
there? Thank you very much.
Of course. What, you his agent?
But I was just about respect for people who are getting results.
No, I think you've got to look. It's not disrespecting Ryan Mason. What it's doing. No. Listen to it. You maybe the language I've used is a little bit hyperbolic, right?
It's like go put the kettle on.
Here's the real thing. We know, and you know, as a footballer, those players decided they were going to play in this game and they were going to do whatever was required, right? And if they hadn't decided that, whatever Ryan Mason could have said to them, he could have given his best Lord Kitchener moment, right? And they still wouldn't have done it unless they chose to. The players themselves put their best foot forward because they knew what was waiting for them if they didn't.
Wow. I mean, Simon, let's hear from a Tottenham fan. Stephen has listened to all of that. So have we all. Stephen, what do you make of what Simon's saying? The players and only the players decided last night, we better save something out of this game. So when it looks like they're going to lose it, they got a draw. But Ryan Mason had next to nothing to do with that, Stephen. What do you think?
Yeah, completely disagree with that. I mean, generally, I normally really agree with everything Simon says. He talks a lot of sense. Last night, I've been there every game this season, and you could just see, even before the game, the fight was there. So I could see that there's a different atmosphere. But I mean, we went 2-0 down, and normally we're sort of booing. We started singing, getting behind the team as well. So the atmosphere completely changed. So that's down to Ryan Mason, obviously, changing that scenario. The one thing I could see was just the change alone. Before, when Salim's there, Conte's there, anytime something happened, there was like the panic. You get Davinson Sanchez straight on. They start panicking, putting people in different positions and that sort of stuff. Ryan Mason was the one who got us back in that game. Not
there you
obviously
go.
The team. first thing, 5 minutes. Normally we're waiting for Richarlison or someone to come on with like 8 minutes to go. Absolutely pointless. Yesterday, within 5 minutes of like the half, you could see like, hold on, this guy, we can get something out of this game because Man United ain't really consistently that great this season. I know they're above us and whatever.
Right.
He's bringing on Kulusevski's come on. Dan Juma's come on.
Positive. Yeah.
It's all positive changes. I mean, you could see Perisic. Obviously, he's an old boy now. He's getting on. Even when he was getting a little bit tired and getting a bit leggy, rather than wait for us to run out of ideas and run him into the ground, he's like, right. Sure. Let's get Ben Davies.
So instead of Simon saying Ryan put the kettle on, you're saying Ryan actually reacted well. I
think he reacted, and if you look at it, I know in the second half Bruno went through, he's hit the crossbar and stuff like that. But I mean, you've got Son was getting into different positions because obviously because of the players that have come in. So Son was getting into better positions second half. He's obviously scored Mr. Sitter in my eyes, Eric Dyer. Bit more positive because obviously the change of formation. So you started seeing some of the players it was just so much positive. It's so positive, and that can't just all because the players are worried about that's Ryan making them move.
The Ryan Mason effect, Stephen. Well said. What do you want to say to Stephen as a result of all that? He's a Tottenham fan. He knows what's going on at the club. He's watching it at first hand.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Mason played his part.
There's some good points in it, and maybe the extreme that I took it to is probably too far to the extreme. But I look at the halftime speech, I look at the players. And I think that Ryan Mason could have said whatever he wanted. If these players weren't motivated and aroused, as they clearly weren't on Newcastle, and we have to stop the line between whose responsibility is to arouse the players. The players' job is to be professional and arouse themselves. It's the manager's job to keep them focused.
So you're basically saying that the man in the street can just go in and just be the manager at Spurs?
No, not at all.
Or the chairman or the owner?
Not at all.
That's what it sounds like.
Not at all.
Stephen, finish this. On you go.
So Simon, but the thing about it is what he's done with the change as well. It kept the crowd on the side as well. So when they went to, we had the first chance, by the way, yesterday. So it was quite positive. Then we go 1-0 down. Yeah. We all sat back going, oh, here we go again. It's going to be Sunday all over again because obviously we've conceded. I mean, I joked next to the person going, oh, we've done better than Sunday because we never conceded after 1 minute. So there is that sort of element, but it was positive, and the changes kept us on side, which means we wasn't getting on the players' backs. So
and that's a fair observation. But you had a
Stephen.
deflection because the main focus was to tell the chairman what you thought of him.
Yeah. I mean, Stephen, is that true? I mean, were you amongst the ones who were singing "Leave Get Out of Our Club"?
Listen, I never ever sing. So the only songs I sing is obviously for the players and stuff like that, and I sing for, and I still sing. It never went on last night, but I sing for Pochettino because I'm a massive fan. It's a bit of a fairy tale story if he comes back, and it is still possibly could be a reason why he hasn't been announced yet. I don't know.
He's going to Chelsea, mate.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been announced yet. There could
not
be a
yet. No, fair point.
He was being a bit cheeky. I don't know, but
Stephen, you're having Ryan Mason, maybe not on a permanent basis.
No, he's doing a good job, and he needs to stay around the club. But in terms for us, he wouldn't be ready to be the permanent manager.
Good point. Very, very, very good points made by you, Stephen. Thank you for that. How do you feel now, U-turn boy?
I don't feel anything. In terms of U-turn. I think that the main reasons why Tottenham produced a better performance is because players decided they were going to, and I believe that they wouldn't have the audacity to put out what they put out on Sunday at home in front of 60,000 fans.
The audacity of you players, Martin Keown.
Yeah,
never lost.
It's a shock he's going against the players again. But anyway, and the manager now. But
was it the manager that got beat 6-1 on Sunday? Then was it the chairman? Was it the fans? No, it was the players that concocted the 6-1 defeat.
No denying that, Martin.
No, but we're talking about Ryan Mason here, and I think he did an exceptional job last night.
I think he did well last night, and judging by what Steve said, he changed it for the right reasons.
He should get the job now, absolutely. He's changed the whole culture of Tottenham in one fell swoop.
No, you've gone too far. You've gone too far.
One extreme to the other.
11:15.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.